Hey mamas, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today I'm sharing my Instant Pot whole chicken recipe. I'm also going to share my homemade all-purpose spray, how I make that, and then also at the end I'm sharing how I make my bone broth. So if you want to see that, stick around to the end. So first thing I start off with is just patting my chicken dry. I've already gathered all of my seasonings and put it into that yellow bowl, and I'll show you exactly what seasonings I used. 2 teaspoons of salt and pepper, 2 teaspoons of dried thyme, 1.5 teaspoons of paprika, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. Transferred it to this clear bowl because I'm going to need to use that yellow bowl later on for the Pico De Gallo. So I'm just smothering all of this onto my chicken, just making it really nice. I'm trying to get it into the skin, and later on you'll see me getting it into the cavity. So you just want to get it all into the crevices and everywhere. Now I'm just transferring it to the Instant Pot. The Instant Pot is on saute right now, and you just want to saute it on both sides for about 5 minutes. While that is sauteing, I am cutting half an onion, taking off the skin, and then quartering it in 4s because I'm going to use it to stick inside the cavity of the chicken. So I've already flipped it and I'm letting it saute on the other side for 5 minutes. And then after that is done, you want to pick your chicken up, stuff the cavity with your onion quarter, and then you're gonna have to take out the chicken so that you can put the trivet back into the Instant Pot. So I just use my potato smasher and get a good grip on it, and then 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and then a cup of chicken broth. Put that in there, and then I put my chicken back in the Instant Pot, breast side up, and then you're gonna put your Instant Pot on pressure, manual pressure, up to 28 minutes, and you want it on high pressure. And you want to make sure that the steam valve is closed. And then now I'm just moving on to the other half of the onion, and I'm just cutting that up so that I can use it later on in the week. Anytime I need onion, that way it's all cut and ready to go, I can just pull it out and grab as much as I need. Now moving on to making my Pico De Gallo. So first I totally messed up and didn't put the top on right, so I needed to take all of them back out and put it back in. Don't make my mistake. I love this little food chopper. It's literally the best. We got it at HEB for like $40, so if you need a food chopper, this one does the job. I can make almond butter in it, I've made hummus in it, I've made cauliflower hummus in it. It's just so awesome. And so I'll use that to cut up the onion and to cut up the cilantro, and it just makes my life so much easier.
Not sure I really care. We're all of our demons.
So for the pico, I use about 1 full white onion and then about 2 bunches of cilantro. This is organic cilantro. Try to get organic when you buy herbs just because they love to absorb pesticides. So you really want to try to get organic. After I cut up all of that, I cut up a serrano pepper and dice that up in my food chopper as well. And then I go ahead and start hand chopping all of the tomatoes. You want to hand chop it because that food processor would just turn it into mush. So I hand chop all of the tomatoes. This is probably the most time consuming part. is having to hand chop all of these, and we use about 6 tomatoes, Roma tomatoes. So I'm just hand chopping all of these up, and then the pico will be almost ready. All I'll need next is some lemons.
I know it's not easy. I know we could dive into. We're not like the others. They do not need to know. You said you fall with me, no matter how deep it goes. With my head underwater.
After my tomatoes are all chopped up, I grab my lemon squeezer and I cut 3 lemons in half and put them in my pico. You want to kind of use your judgment with this. You might need more, you might need less, but make sure you don't throw away those lemons because you're going to be making a homemade all-purpose spray later with them. So after that, I just kind of mix it all up, add some salt, and give it a good mix, and your pico is done. After the pico is done, the chicken should be done. Look how juicy and good this looks. It actually was really, really delicious. So I'm just cutting off little pieces so that I can cool them down for AV, and so that we can get some later when we make our tacos. So that's what we're making tonight. So I warmed up some tortillas. All I'm doing is putting some meat on the tortilla, adding some Pico De Gallo, and then putting some cheese on top, and that is our taco. I'll also probably add some avocado, and yeah, the rest of the pico is going to be used for throughout the week just to eat as a snack. So after I'm done eating dinner, I go back into the kitchen and I get my chicken and I hand take off all of the meat from the bone. And as I'm doing that, I'm putting the bones into the Instant Pot. You want to try to get off all the meat and add your bones to the Instant Pot so that you can make bone broth. After I'm done with putting all of the bones into the Instant Pot, go ahead and wash my hands and then put the top on this Pyrex. I also like to write the date on top just so I remember. So next I'm moving on to making the bone broth. I put a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, 1 bay leaf, a little bit of salt, and a couple of baby carrots because I didn't have regular carrots. And then I like to put all the leftover scraps from what I made earlier. So, and then I also add enough filtered water so that it covers all of the bones. And then you're just gonna close your Instant Pot and you're gonna put it on 1 hour and 30 minutes. Then I just start moving on to the dishes and get all of these cleaned and ready to go for the next morning. So I'm just starting to clean all of the countertops so that I can start making my homemade all-purpose cleaner. What you're gonna do is just take all of the lemon peels and put them into a mason jar. Once you're done doing that, you're gonna add vinegar all the way to the top, and then you're just gonna top it with a lid, and then put it in the pantry, and I like to let it sit for about a week. After that week is up, you can strain it into a spray bottle, and you fill half of the vinegar, half water, and then I like to put a little drop of Dr. Bronner's Sal Suds, and there you have it. There's your all-purpose spray. So right here, I'm just taking out all the big chunks and throwing it into the trash and then spraying it off so that I can get this all cleaned up. And there you have it, a nice, beautiful, clean kitchen. But next we have to get our bone broth out and into containers. So once it's done, I like to let it sit for about 30 minutes to kind of cool down, and then I'm gonna go ahead and strain it. So I like to strain it into my big mesh strainer, and then I have a smaller strainer that I'll strain it into. And from there, I like to put it into these silicone muffin cups so that they freeze in smaller portions, so that if I ever need chicken broth kind of fast and I forget to put them into the fridge to defrost, I can kind of just like put that into a saucepan or something and they'll defrost really fast. But I also like to add my chicken broth to two different mason jars and then a bigger mason jar. The two smaller mason jars I'm going to put in the freezer and bring down if I need it for a recipe that week. The bigger mason jar I'm just going to put into the fridge and use it throughout the week for different recipes.
Not a smooth talker under pressure. Sweaty palms ain't making it much better. Something about you feels so special. Prettier from the minute that I met you.
Here's what it looks like all frozen in my freezer. And that's it, guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching, and subscribe if you haven't already. Catch you in the next one.